Okay, here's question 3. Question 3 tells us that when copper sulfate, which is as a formula CuSO4, reacts with sodium hydroxide, it forms copper 2 hydroxide and sodium sulfate. Okay, and the first question says write a word equation for the reaction taking place. So basically we've got a lot of words in here and we need to rewrite them as a word equation. So where it says reacts with, in chemistry we could replace that with a plus symbol, reacts with. It forms, well, that's going to be an arrow to say a chemical reaction's happened, and the word and, we could also put a plus symbol there. So what I'm suggesting is that we've got copper sulfate, and we might as well copy it completely. That's copper 2 sulfate. Reacts with sodium hydroxide. To make, or to form rather, copper hydroxide. And it's a bit squashed at space, but if I go up here, and sodium sulfate. Okay, so we've got sodium sulfate. So you were really just asked to rewrite the question in the form of a chemical equation. Okay. It then says give the number of atoms of sulfur found in the formula Na2SO4. Okay, so if we have a look at this formula, Na is the symbol for sodium. There's 2 of them, so that's 2 times Na. S is the symbol for sulfur, and there's only 1 of those because there's no number next to it. And O is the symbol for oxygen, and there are 4 of those, okay, due to the 4 down here. Now, if you're not sure about these symbols and which elements they are in any of the questions, you can always turn to the back page where you'll find a periodic table. Okay, so just to double check. So Na is over here, that's the sodium. S on its own, a capital S is here, which is the sulfur, and O is there, which is the oxygen. Okay, so it's just to double check that you've got the right elements. So to answer the question now, we've pretty much done that already. It says give the number of atoms of sulfur found in the formula. Well, we can see here there is 1, so you could write 1 atom. The next question, do a similar thing, give the total number of atoms found in the formula CuSO4. Well, we've got copper times 1. There's only 1 copper because there's no number next to it. We've got sulfur times 1, again no number, and then we've got oxygen times 4 because of that number 4 there. So 1 plus 1 plus 4 is 6 atoms. And then the total number of atoms found in the formula Cu brackets OH close brackets twice. Okay, now this is a little bit sneaky. The copper, there's just 1 of those because there's nothing funny going on with that. Everything inside these brackets, however, there are 2 of. Okay, so in other words, there are 2 oxygens and there are 2 hydrogens. Okay, so the total number is 1 plus 2 plus 2, which is 5. 5 atoms in total in copper hydroxide. Okay, and then the final question on this one here says iron 3 sulfate reacts with sodium hydroxide to produce iron 3 hydroxide. Write a formula for iron 3 hydroxide. So to do this, okay, we could do worse than to draw our balancing triangle because we've been asked to work out a formula. Okay, and so to find out what the iron is for iron 3 hydroxide, if we turn to the back page, or the second to back page rather, there is a table of ions. And what we need is the symbol for the different ions. So iron 3 is Fe3+. Okay, so if we go back to our question, we'll put Fe3+ over here. And if we look up the hydroxide ion, we'll find that it's OH minus. Okay, so we're going to have to extend this bar here, because in order to balance that Fe3 plus, we'll need 3 of these, okay, because they're each individually have only got a single negative charge. So we'll need 3 of them all together, which does make the formula slightly difficult to write. But if you've got your wits about you, you'll remember this formula up here. So it's going to be similar to that. So when we put that all together, we don't write any of the charges because we've made sure that they're all cancelled out. So we write Fe, we open a bracket, we write OH inside the bracket, and then we write a 3 down here to show that there are 3 of them. Okay, so that's the formula for iron 3 hydroxide.